Good afternoon. This is Corey Babka from the Marks Group. I just wanted to do our monthly newsletter of what's new with Salesforce.com. Just doing that this afternoon. Only going to go over a couple things. Going to be a fairly quick one, quick video for those of you that are watching it afterwards. I'm just going to kind of blow through it quickly. As you know, there's tons of things that are actually out there that we can use. I'm also opening up the Q&A section if anybody has any questions that are joining the Hangout. But as you know, with Salesforce, they do 3 releases a year. They do winter, spring, summer. They do not do in fall because that's when they're planning for the Dreamforce event. And so that takes up most of the Salesforce time. So when we look at things here, what we're going to do is I'm just going to share my screen a little bit. And let me just move that over if I can. 1 second. Bear with me. There we go. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to share that part of my screen. Share it. Present to everybody. There we go. So you can see this is my Salesforce right here. Okay. And what I always tell people to do is if you're really interested, you can always go discover summer. Right, it shows you videos and it shows you these types of things. But I always look at the release notes. I mean, that's my world. My world is the release notes here. It shows me certain things like features, the general enhancements, mobile, whether it's sales, service, your department. You know who you are and you know how it works out. So I just went through these every once in a while, and I did it again last night just to kind of pick out a couple of them that might be useful for you. This doesn't include stuff from spring 15, which there were more advancements. I'm going to touch on the duplication, which was started back then, but it's been finalized now in summer. And then we're also going to go over the notes area. The notes area is brand new, and actually I want to focus on that. So without further ado, just the one thing that there is out there that it's called notes. And now I know you might say to yourself, well, we always had notes, right? So if I go look here and I look at EMC Outdoor, there's some information there. I have my activity history, things like that. But here's my notes and attachments. So I have attachments, I have some notes, and if I do a new note, you'll notice it's very, very different from what it was before. Now, I enabled this on my system. I'll show you how to do that. But you do have to enable the rich text note is what it is, okay? So to do that, we go to Setup. And with all things in Setup, I just start searching over here. I do note, and you'll see there's a notes beta, right? Not a lot going on here, just some settings. And what I do is I enable the notes, and then I save it. By enabling them, what I get back to is what we were just showing, that I can go in and I can add a new note. Now you can see there, what I don't like about this, and I will tell you, is that I just canceled that other note. By even creating a new note, it's going to actually put something in here. So this is the untitled note, but I have a title here. Say testing, testing. Right? I can say this is just a note. I can do bullets. I can do the following. Bullets, bold, italics. Okay? And I can do that by saying, well, I'm going to take this here and say I'm going to do bullets. Right? I'm going to do bold, italics, right? You can number, you can indent, outdent, whatever you want to, vice versa, okay? And what I have there is I can save that, right? Now, there are some followers that you can follow this note, okay? You can also share it with others, okay? So there's a lot more going on with the note, and actually, I like it. I can copy and paste from a certain email. I can actually go, let me just do that. I'm going to find an email in my system that might have a little bit more information in it. Let's see, let's go here and just do, just looking at this. If I go here, I'm actually going to go and get a really, really complex one, okay? If I get a complex one, I'm going to see if it takes it all in. Now, I haven't tried this with pictures yet, so forgive me. But basically what I did was this, and see, that's what the picture is in here, so it's not allowing for pictures still, okay? But what it is allowing for is certain things like, I could do this. Yeah, see, it's the same thing. This right here would be a website link, which there isn't. So essentially, we're looking at some basic formatting, okay? It is a little bit more than what we had before, which is just line by line. But you can see there's some things that we have there that we can do. Okay. The other item I wanted to cover today was the duplicate checking, because there is a duplicate area now that is, if I spell it right, it's a little bit more complex than it used to be. And actually, the duplicate management, the matching rules, and the duplicate rules, you have all these things here, but it's under data.com administration. You do not have to pay for data.com. It is part of the service. I'm on Enterprise Edition. It's part of mine. Not the data.com part, but this duplicate management is in here. Okay, so I do have some duplicate rules. I can create a new one, and I'm going to say I'm going to do a new contact rule. Okay, we're going to call it duplicate contact check. Okay, and it's just going to do this. It allows me to say, do you want to block or allow? But if I allow them, it will alert it or report it. So I'm actually going to block it, and I'm actually going to edit. I'm going to block it too, because I want to make sure, actually this one I might just say alert. Okay, and that's the alert text. You're creating a duplicate record. We recommend you use an existing. Okay, it's going to be on the contacts, and here is where it gets interesting, because it says, what do you want to use on the, and I'm going to say the standard matching rule, and that's this. If I click this link here, it actually opens up the record, opens up the help text, and it shows you everything that's kind of going on. This isn't out of the box. So at a minimum, you can set this up for your users, and we know that we're not going to create. But this looks for first name, last name, title, company, first name, last name, email, first name, last name, company, a whole lot of different things. Okay? And so this is what we have here. You can read through that stuff if you want, but essentially I'm going to just add it here, and then I'm going to add the rule. Okay? Compare the contacts with other contacts. Okay? You might do this with, I want to compare leads to contacts. So I don't want to enter a lead that's already in the system. Okay, so I might do this instead, where I say lead, right? Compare contacts with, or actually I'll just say, I'll go back to them. So this is leads. Okay, standard matching lead. Let's compare contacts. This is actually add a rule. I'm sorry, I was doing it a little bit differently. What happens here is I was talking out of turn. Sorry. What that means is this is actually, I'm just adding multiple rules as I go. Okay, so I have this here, and then I save it. Okay, now what happens is I'm going to, remember on create, it's going to block it. Okay, so I activate these rules. Okay, so this is mapped here, matching rule 4, right? It's giving me, when I activate it, it's yelling at me saying, associated matching rule must be active and their fields mapped. So what does that mean? These are active there. I see. I have to activate it. That's fine. Lead, standard matching. Away we go. So just remove this one for right now. Let's just save it. Okay. Warning. It's probably going to yell at me again, saying that I don't have. Oh, I don't have the standard rule, and that's what it is. My standard rule is not in there, so I'm going to make my own. Okay. I'm going to say create a new matching rule. I can say that duplicate rule, and I can just say this is where contact name, like first name, is an exact match with and last name. Okay, save it. Okay, activate that. Right, and then we'll go through that. So we won't be able to test it right away because they're going to activate it on my side. And what that essentially is doing is when I get that email, which will be, you know, any minute, but it's not going to happen within this Hangout. What we're looking at is that duplicate rule is now there, and then I can go back to my list of duplicate. I can go back to my rules. So if I go back to my matching rules and I have my duplicate, my standard ones, duplicate rules, duplicate contact checking, it's not mapped, okay, and I can mess with this. But what you have is, I'm not going to waste your time today on this, but it did say that it actually, I did already get it. It's been activated and ready to use, okay? So now if I do this, not mapped, first name, see, that's where it is there. It's kind of screwing me up because I've got lead to contact. Let's go ahead and activate this and see what it does. And it is going to yell at me again. So mapping not selected. Contact field first name, last name, that's fine. Say OK. And then we save it. There we go. And now I can activate this. So what that will essentially do, if this is doing it right, okay, I should be prevented from doing a new lead for someone called let's do this. Let's see. Hold on, bear with me. Okay. And it allowed it, so therefore that's my problem. Like I shouldn't be able to do that. Now when I do convert this, it should say, you do not want to do this. And it should yell at me. Subject, I'm just going to do this test. And say convert. Yeah, so I have some issues there. My account name, it's going to do attach to existing, and I say convert. And now I have two contacts named Song Ho. So got it. I have to review mine. I'm going to have to go through and do my thing there and really get rid of it and check it out a little bit more. So, but as you can see, I mean, there's plenty of documentation on it. I'm sorry to go back and forth on this and not do this one as correctly as I'd want. But that's what, you know, so goes the world of Salesforce, right? So what we've got, I wanted to focus again on the notes. Notes are good. The duplicate checking, it is a lot more, I mean, it didn't even exist before. And now the duplicate checking is there. It's part of a data.com. It will look for these things. I'm going to look to see if it just kind of propagate and see what happens. But I have this amazing hunch that I did it wrong. So, and it's not the first time nor the last, unfortunately. So you saw me kind of work through it. You saw it's there, but it is duplicate checking as part of the summer 15. It's been finalized and it's all available to everybody. I believe professional and up, professional edition and enterprise. That we can find in the release notes if we wanted to really check that out. But that's it for now. Again, just a couple things here and there. We'll be doing our tips next week if interested in that, or we'll be reviewing last month's blog entries from the Marks group, and away we go. I'll have a good day and hear from you soon. Thank you.